Welcome to Newsline. I'm Yuko Fukushima in Tokyo. We started in Iran, where the authorities there are putting more pressure on protesters. The country's elite Revolutionary Guard has warned that it would crush demonstrators opposing the presidential election result. The warning comes under the continuing cry of protesters. Naeem Karimi reports from Tehran.
On Monday, Iran's state-run television repeatedly aired this footage of Saturday's protest, in which many people were killed or injured. The station also showed close-ups of protesters' faces as they attacked security officers. The program called on viewers to provide information about the demonstrators to police. The broadcast is an apparent show of the authorities' resolve to expose violent demonstrators and weaken their actions. Supporters of former Prime Minister Mir Hossein Mousavi are continuing their protests in an effort to bring about a new election. This is in defiance of a warning by the country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei. On Monday, the military force under the command of Iran's supreme leader said that it would take strong action against protesters disturbing the peace or engaging in sabotage or riots. But about 1,000 protesters gathered in central Tehran. They prayed for the victims of past protests and chanted slogans supporting Mousavi. Security forces used tear gas to disperse the protesters. Details of injuries or arrests are unknown. The scale of protests has diminished since the Revolutionary Guard issued the warning. Reformists fear that the death toll could rise sharply if the security authorities take stronger action. So far, 17 people have been killed in the post-election protests. Reformists' anger hasn't faded. In Tehran, slogans saying "death to the dictator" echo throughout the streets every night. Protesters say they find it difficult to express their criticism of President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in the presence of the security force. But they say they are determined not to allow illegal behavior in the presidential election. Behind their anger is a discontent with the conservatives who have run the country according to their own will. Even though Monday's demonstration was small in scale, it's not known when the post-election protests will subside. They may continue for as long as reformists' discontent smolders. Naeem Karimi, NHK World, Tehran.
Now, some reactions from the world on Iran. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has urged Iran to stop using force against civilians. Pan said in a statement on Monday that he is dismayed by the post-election violence in Iran, particularly the use of force, which has caused injuries and loss of life. The UN chief is also calling on the Iranian authorities to respect fundamental civil rights, especially the freedoms of information, expression, and assembly. Pan has also urged the Iranian government and the opposition to resolve their differences peacefully through dialogue. And the European Union has rejected the Iranian government's allegations that European governments in the United States are inciting Iran's post-election riots. The EU said in a statement on Monday that the allegations are groundless. The EU also expressed deep concern over the Iranian government's use of violence against protesters. It has called on the authorities to stop unjustly detaining people. Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper called on Iran to release all political prisoners and journalists, including Canadians. He said they have been unjustly detained. Harper added that the Iranian government should allow Iranian and foreign media to report freely on these historic events. Italian Foreign Minister Franco Frattini says Iran appears to have rejected an invitation to this week's Group of 8 foreign ministers meeting. He said he has not yet had a response 3 days before the event. Italy has invited Iran to discuss ways to improve the situation in neighboring Afghanistan and Pakistan. And now let's look at some news in this country. People in Japan